My name's Emile. I've built a national franchise with over 2,700 kids enrolled this month across 22 franchise locations and a business that now runs without me. But it wasn't always like that. In this video, I'm going to share the shift that took me from total burnout to genuine freedom. The same mindset every entrepreneur eventually needs to learn if they want their business to stop running their life. Because here's the truth, you've been lied to about hard work. Everyone says just grind harder, sleep less, push more. And I did that for years, and it nearly broke me. I was exhausted, frustrated, and trapped inside the very business I've built. So today, I'll walk you through the 4 mindset shifts that changed everything for me. How to work smarter, let go of control, think like an architect, and finally, build the kind of freedom you started this journey for. So during our annual Boomers Leadership Conference, I shared a story to the franchisees, right? And it was my story in 2018. When I started the business, I was out there, I was hustling, I was grinding, I was trying to get my first couple of members to sign up to my program. And it was happy days. It was very easy managing the business when you have a small business. I had under 100 members. I had a couple of coaches under me. I was operating out of only 1 or 2 venues. But something changed. I wanted to grow my area to a 500 enrollment area per term. And I was out there, I was doing my local area marketing. I was getting back to inquiries. All of a sudden, things started to change as my location grew. My email inbox was flooding. My phone calls were flooding. I wasn't getting back to inquiries as fast as I used to. I started to recruit some coaches. Some weren't the best. So I had a bit of cracks in my recruitment process. I was a little bit slow to get back to people. I was putting out fire after fire. And the first couple of hours in my day was just spent getting back to people. That's what my first couple of hours, like think about it. You log in, you wake up, you're getting back to this email, you're getting back to that email, you're getting back to that email. By the time you've gotten back to everybody, it's 12 o'clock, it's lunchtime, you're fried, you're toast. And what I started to realize was as my business started to grow, hard work wasn't going to get me to that next stage, because the harder I found for myself, the harder I was working, the more problems I was running into. The formula wasn't adding up. I didn't have systems, I didn't have training systems, coaching systems, recruitment systems, marketing systems, and I was starting to get burnt out a lot. And it was then and there at about the 200 to 250 enrollment mark where I said to myself, if I keep going at this trajectory, I'm going to burn out, I'm going to start to hate my business, I'm not going to like it anymore, and I'm going to have to do something about it if I really wanted to expand and have a business run without me. And in today's video, I'm going to take you through 4 key points of how you can move away from burnout and go closer to freedom. Let's get into key point number 1. Key point number 1, the myth of hard work. At a very young age, I was sold that you have to work hard. You got to wake up, you got to grind away, sunrise, sunset. If you're tired, push through. The more hours you do, just keep going, keep going, keep going. It's not true. I found out that hard work is not going to lead to freedom and success in business. Here's a complete sentence. Hard work is only 50% of the game plan. Do you want to know what the other 50% of the game plan is? It's working smart. You cannot just work hard. It will not get you to freedom and success in business. 50% of the plan is working smart. So if you're working hard, which is a prerequisite, don't get me wrong, guys, I'm not going to shortchange that. You need to work hard, right? You have to work hard. You can't just work smart and not work hard. For success in any endeavor, in any industry, in any field, you've got to work hard. But it's only 50% of the plan. The other 50% of the plan is working smart. And Abraham Lincoln has this really nice quote that I want to share with you. Listen to it for a second. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. What does that mean? Right? Abraham, it's quite literal. Rather than just getting an axe and chopping away for 6 hours, working hard, grinding away, then getting tired, then getting fatigued. No, I'm going to sharpen the axe. Because if I sharpen the axe, I'm going to get through that tree a lot quicker. And that's the whole idea of working smart. So you need to debunk this myth of working hard, guys. And I came to a realization a couple of years ago, who are the hardest workers in terms of like physical labor in this earth? Who are the hardest workers? Tradesmen. Tradesmen are the hardest worker. God bless my dad. He's a hard worker. He wakes up at 5 a.m., beats his body, lifts, moves stuff, comes back at 6 p.m. buggered, dead tired. Are they the most wealthiest people? No, they're not. But they're hard workers by far. They are the most hardest workers, but they're not the most wealthiest. So just remember, you can't just go hard work. You can't just work your way through everything. You need to have a good system, a smart system, a scalable system in conjunction with hard work. Then you can get closer to freedom and success. So that's the myth of hard work. Let's get into key point number 2. Key point number 2. Burnout comes from controlling too many people and controlling too many things. Now this one, hands up to me, I personally struggle with, right? Where you experience burnout is number 1, you either do everything, you don't hire anybody, and you're just a one-man band, and you're doing the bookkeeping, and you're doing the marketing, and you're doing every single function and task in the business because you don't want to pay the money to hire someone. Or the second way of burnout, and I see this a lot, is you employ people to do it. For example, you employ a bookkeeper, but you now micromanage them. You look over, you have to double check everything, and it's almost like, why'd you pay for this person? Like, you're pretty much doing the work for them. So there's two ways, and there's two forms of burnout in that sense. And I know for me personally, when I was growing my franchise, right, franchisees were coming up to me for a lot of things, and so they should. We're here to provide and offer support. And I was getting back to inquiries, getting back to franchisees. Hey, I got this problem, I got this problem. I said, man, this is too much. Like, I can't grow the business and also support my franchisees and offer world-class support like we say we do. So I had to hire an operations manager, Greg, our franchise performance coach, and he's our dedicated coach and dedicated support person to help the franchisees. The franchisees are stuck with anything, they jump on the phone and they call Greg, right? And Greg assists and helps them. But what you need to understand is the only way or how you're going to experience burnout is if you don't delegate. I've got this lovely saying, you do what you do best and you delegate the rest. Great saying. It's either you need to hire people so that there's less on your plate, or if you do hire people, you need to empower them and give them the responsibility to own the task and not micromanage them. And I tell you what, if you do hire people and you need to double check every single thing they do, because I had this problem personally, I face this every single day, it is very exhausting. It is very mentally exhausting when you've got, let's say, 10 direct reports and you're watching over them. Have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done? You're going to be exhausted by monitoring their to-do list. That's not empowerment. That's being a control freak. A really good leadership principle that you can apply to your staff, and I've recently done it for myself. I got it from Dan Martell. It's called outcome leadership. There's 2 types of leaders, to-do list generals and outcome leaders. Focus on being an outcome leader. What do I mean by that? Let's say you tell your team that you want to bring more revenue. You do option A, you say, I want you to make 20 phone calls per day and outreach to potential prospects to bring the company revenue. What do you do there? You go through everybody's to-do list. Have you called those people? You look at the call logs. You look at their emails. Very, very exhausting. Outcome leadership is, hey, I want for this month for you to bring $10,000 in revenue to the company. That's the outcome. How they get there is totally up to the employee. They can do in-person visits, presentations, phone calls, but the outcome is $10,000 in revenue. It's clear, it's concise, it's measurable, and you're able to check in every single week to see if they're getting closer to that target. So you want to start to adopt what's called outcome leadership. The last point, I'm going to go through it, very important. Now, most importantly, if you're going to hire people, right, to get things off your plate, to delegate, right, to get your plate more emptier, I follow 4 steps whenever I hire someone to make sure I've got the right person in the job. Number 1 is expectations. I go over the expectations thoroughly with the employee. Here is what I expect from you in this role. So many business owners just employ someone and say, all the best, train them and know if you need anything. Where's the expectations? Where's your level of standards? You must take the time to go over the expectations so that the employee doesn't get caught off guard. They know what to expect from you. Number 2, what does success look like in this role? So what I do, whenever I bring somebody on board and they're now doing a function of the business, I tell them, hey, this is what success looks like in this role. The employee or your staff member needs to know, well, how do I know if I'm on the right track? How do I know if I'm doing things right? Like, what does success look like? And you must show them. Don't give them vague instructions. You know, people give vague, success looks like, this pose. Give them specific instructions of what success looks like. And number 3, I give them all the resources and playbooks, right? This is how you do this. This is a playbook for how you do this, right? Playbooks are SOPs, standard operating procedures. This is how you do this. I give them an entire, encyclopedia of all the playbooks and resources that they need to accomplish everything in that role. So they can't come up to me and say, Emile, how do I do this? Or you didn't show me how to do this. Or I never knew how to do this. I'll give them all the playbooks and all the resources. And now the last one, very important, let's go through it. And number 4 is I set a designated meetup time for weekly coaching. Keyword is coaching, not controlling. So I'll say to them, John, I'm going to meet up with you every Wednesday at 12 p.m. That's going to be yours and I time. I'm here to coach you. If you're stuck with any problems, you let me know. If there's any questions I can help you with, if there's any advice, we've got a 10-minute window and we're going to meet up every Wednesday at 12 p.m. That way the team member knows, okay, I've got somebody to lean on. I've got someone I can ask advice for. It's not for you to do the work for them, right? That's controlling, right? A control freak comes in, I'll just do the work. It's for coaching, for you to coach them if they experience any obstacles as they're doing their job. So those are my 4-step blueprint. I'll give it to you again. Set the expectations. Number 2, tell them what success looks like in this role. Number 3, give them all the resources and playbooks they need to do every function of their job. And number 4, designate a meetup time for coaching. Hey, just quickly, if you want to see if a Little Boomers basketball franchise is a right fit for you, book a discovery call with me and I'd love to have a chat. Key point number 3, and this is very crucial. If you want to experience less burnout and more freedom, you need to transition from a worker to an architect. You need to become an architect. A worker is somebody that's got the hammer, that's in the tools, that is grinding away, that is chipping away, doing the hard work. An architect builds the system and builds the blueprint that governs the entire business and the entire project. Take, for example, building a house, right? When you're building a house, there's so many different departments. You've got the painters, you've got the bricklayers, you've got the concreters. Person that is a worker is doing all those individual functions. But before a house is built, you have a blueprint. The architect creates the blueprint. The functions that's happening within the house, they meet with the project manager once a week. You need to become the architect of your business. You need to build the systems and the blueprints that your employees follow to produce a desired result. That is the only way for you to step out of the business and looking at things from a whole. Let me give you an example. Okay, so a moment ago, I told you that an architect builds the systems of the business. This is a classic example. This is called our phone book playbook system. It's our phone call playbook system, right? I created a playbook with scripts, you'll see in a second. This is how you upsell a parent. This is how you greet a parent on the phone. This is how you handle objections. I created pretty much a 20-page playbook that shows my admin team how to call parents, how to sell parents, how to handle objections, and I teach them on this. This is being an architect. Once I've given them this, they go ahead and they start calling the phones and they start answering the objections and start bringing the business and bringing the franchisees revenue. I've created a system here for my team to follow. They don't come up to me for help or how do I do this. They go here to the system and the system does the work. And the beauty about this is if I bring on another VA or another admin person, all I need to show them is this blueprint that I've created and they go ahead and follow and it brings the company revenue. That's all you need to create. Now you're probably thinking, wow, Emile, that's really good. That system and playbook's awesome. How can I create one for my business? The beautiful thing is with ChatGPT, you can create professional, easy to understand playbooks like this in under 5 minutes. Let me explain how. Okay, so step number 1, you're going to go on to Loom. Loom is a software that allows you to record your screen, right? You can download it. There's a free version. I'd get the paid version. It costs $200 a month or a year, I should say. Download Loom and put it on your computer. It allows you to record your screen. Step number 2, when you want to show someone how to do a certain function or to do of the business, all you're going to do is record you on Loom doing it. For example, if you're showing, hey, this is how I send a proposal, you record yourself talking in the video. Okay, guys, I'm getting the PDF. I'm changing the words here. I'm downloading it like this. I open up the email. This is a subject line. This is a body. Attach it. send. So you do a Loom recording of you completing the entire task. Then step number 3, this is where the magic of ChatGPT comes. Loom has transcriptions available. What you're going to do is you're going to go to that Loom video, you're going to hit transcribe, it's going to give you a full transcription of your video, you're then going to plug it into ChatGPT, and you're going to prompt it like this. You're going to say, hey, ChatGPT, I want you to create me a step-by-step playbook of this video recording for how to do this function on the business. And what I like to do is when I'm teaching ChatGPT, I like to have the output in a certain way. So I'll say, I want you to put it in bullet points, no big words, no chunky words, everything in bullet points. I want it clean, headings, text, and I want you to write it as if you're teaching a 7th grade person how to do this task. If you don't do that, ChatGPT complicates it. And if this system here is too hard to understand, it's not going to be followed. So then I get that transcription, I put it into ChatGPT, ChatGPT lays out the steps for me, I then copy that, I chuck it onto a Google Docs with my logo, my heading, my footer at the bottom, and boom, in 2 minutes, I have created a system and a blueprint that I can now send to my team using ChatGPT. Key point number 4, and this is probably the most important point of the video, burnout comes from doing activities that don't light you up. I'll say that one more time. Burnout comes from doing activities that don't light you up. And I'll give you a classic example. When I was working at my local PCYC, I was working with my younger brother. My younger brother is very tech savvy. He loves administration. He loves procedural tasks. And part of our job as PCYC is we need to sign up members. They've got to complete a form online, a paper form, and we've got to go online and put all their details, their emergency contact numbers, their email, and we've got to sign them up. It's a very tedious process. Now, when I was doing it, I didn't like it at all, right? It took me about 5 minutes to do a membership, and there were so many errors. My manager would say to me, Emile, you didn't fill out the emergency contact. You didn't fill out this. You didn't fill out this. My brother Jordan, right? He loved this task. He got a membership done in under a minute. He would time himself to see how quick he can do it, and he would get a membership done in a minute, and there was no errors, no mistakes, flawless, right? But for me, I was best working on my feet, coaching kids. You know, give me 30 kids, I'll be able to interact and engage with them. That was my strength. So memberships and admin work and online, it didn't light me up, right? And it still doesn't light me up. I hate bookkeeping. I hate responding to emails. I hate admin work. That doesn't light me up. But do you know what does light me up? I love doing video recordings. I love doing training materials. I love creating playbooks like this. I love presenting. I love doing franchise sales calls. These are activities that light me up. So what you need to do, it's impossible to experience burnout if you're doing activities that light you up, right? What you can do is get a piece of paper, write every single activity that you do in the entire week in the business. Every single activity, from phone calls to whatever it is. Then what you're going to do is you're going to get a little lightning, which represents your energy. If it zaps you, or you hate it, or you don't like it, or it takes energy away from you, you put one little zap, and you go through all the list. If it's okay, it's in the medium, you put 2 lightnings. If you really like it, and when you do it, you're fully immersed. And by the way, if you ever want to know whether you like something, or a task, or if it lights you up, you do the activity and you just lose track of time. Like 2 hours goes by, you're like, oh my God, it's been 2 hours already. That's deep work. That's when you know the activity is lighting you up. You're going to put 3 lightning strikes. Those are activities that light you up. What you want to be able to do is delegate the activities that are zapping your energy, because there's people that love it, right? There's people that love bookkeeping. I hate it. There's people that love responding to emails. There's people that love processing memberships, like my brother Jordan. There will always be people that love the activities that you don't like. You delegate those, and you do the activities that light you up. And I'll give you an example just to finish on this point. I have what's called my genius zone. My genius zone is a time in the day where I can get through my deep thinking. 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. is my genius zone. Nobody bothers me. I don't respond to any phone calls, no Slack, no messages, no WhatsApp, nothing. That is my time to do the deep work that I love, which is going to move the needle in the business. That might be creating systems, playbooks, procedures. That might be a new marketing initiative. That might be a new system that we're rolling out to the franchisees. That's my genius zone. So what you need to do is figure out when your genius zone is, what time of the day, and what activities fall into your genius zone. Do those activities, and I promise you, you will not burn out. So that brings us to the end of the video. Remember, team, if you want to move from what's called burnout to freedom, understand these 4 key points. Don't just think hard work is going to get you there. It's only 50% of the plan. The other 50% is you need to have a smart plan. Key point number 2, burnout comes from controlling too many people or too many things. You either experience burnout because you're doing every single activity in the business and you need to hire people, or you have hired people, but you have micromanagement and control issues and you need to empower them. Key point number 3, you need to transition from being a worker to becoming an architect that builds the blueprints and systems that the workers follow in your business. And finally, key point number 4, burnout comes from doing too many activities that don't light you up. Figure out what activities light you up, you do those, and you delegate the rest. If you enjoyed today's episode, guys, leave some feedback below, leave a comment, leave hate, leave whatever you can. I'll see you in the next episode.